without her mom.
Yeah.
We thought you might have forgotten her.
And then what about
So we kind of have a sort of a loose organization of the sort of the order in the way that we hold a gathering, but it can be changed at any time by anybody. So I'm just trying to stick to the script right here. So normally what we do is if anybody has an announcements, we'll get those out of the way first, and I do happen to have one. And that is that on October 11th in Lincoln Park in Olean, the Hindu Society of Olean and Allegheny, are those our neighbors?
Yep.
In a couple doors down. They're going to be sponsoring a walk for peace, and registration is $10 a person, and the proceeds are going to go to the Genesis House, which is our homeless shelter in Olean, and they're asking people to bring donations of blankets and pillows, toilet paper, diapers, paper towels, that kind of thing. So registration is at 10 and the walk is at 11.
My announcement is I got $100 a few days ago, and now I used to have $100, but I gave $2 of it to charity, $10 of it that I owed my mom, $1 of it to get a new skateboard, and the rest to get some food. And okay, I only spent $20.
All right, thank
Great
you.
announcement. December, at the beginning of December, we celebrate our holiday that we call Chalaka, in honor of the chalice, which is a UU symbol. And for several years in a row, we have discussed going to the warming house to volunteer as a group. And I think that rather than discuss it, I think we need to pick a date and do it. So who would be interested in going for an evening to help serve meals and sit and talk with people at the warming house? Would you like to do that?
Yes!
Sure.
Yes!
Sure.
If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. And if there is peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. And if there is to be peace between neighbors, there is to be peace in the home. And if there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart.
Thank you, Miss Wilson.
And that is from Lao Tzu.
Sue, I think
That's
Sue is how you say
that's
the last name.
And we start each ceremony. We do have traditions in UU, and central to the UU tradition is the symbol of the chalice, the cup, the holder of wisdom, knowledge, love, peace. And so we start with the lighting of the fire in the chalice. And then we move on to, we do our singing, raise a joyful noise, and then we'll light candles for joys and concerns.
We're going to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Wow.
Everybody knows this song. You guys want some
We're gonna
words?
sing
Or
it
do you know the
together,
words?
Lola. Okay?
I only know some of the words.
Do you know the words or do you want some?
Just some of them.
Some of the words?
Okay. You read some of them and remember some of them. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning.
Come on in.
Yeah, let's see if I can get my...
Jill, did you have any announcements to add?
No.
To your stuff? Okay.
No.
We're going to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. There's some
Do you
lyrics
want to
there.
come sit with me?
Yeah.
I tore away from you.
Okay, Sadie, you want to start us out since you actually have a
Are
singing
you ready,
voice and I
Lola?
don't?
Do we start at the beginning? Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a way above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't I?
We should have sang this one sooner.
I know, that's a beautiful one.
Oh, I think of Judy Garland. Isn't that cute?
This is one of the songs we're doing in our barbershop
Can I do
shows.
a
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
and all in barbershop harmony. It's
Can
beautiful.
I do
That
a
is.
solo?
And since we're still getting used to organizing our music, when you're done at the end, if you all can lay music over there, that would be
Okay, okay.
Okay, Anna's gonna do Joys and Concerns.
Oh, okay. I'll do Joys and Concerns.
I know, I like that one.
So this is the part of our service where we invite anyone who would like to come up and light a candle, and we still haven't figured out the best way to do it. So it's really up to you if you want to light a match, or use this stick, or take this. I think for me the easiest way to do it is to go like this.
I
but
think so, that's
whatever
probably
works.
the safest.
And probably the safest,
But
but
this
you
is
know,
you,
we're
do
you,
it the
so
way
you
you
can
want.
do it the way you want to.
There's no right or wrong way.
And so at this time, I'd like to invite anybody who'd like to come up and share a joy or concern and light a candle to do so.
Ready? All right, Sadie.
All right. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Bruce holy close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Okay, Sadie's gonna lead children's time.
Okay,
Mommy,
yes.
you said just keep me.
Yeah, we'll do that. But you can only stay if you sit on your bottoms and are quiet. Right? Okay. Well, I'm gonna start off the children's time, and I'm gonna go over your heads for a minute and do my introduction. Yeah.
Can you tell me when you're gonna do it? Cause I wanna be here.
We're gonna let you stay for that.
I want
as long
you
as
to.
you guys.
I
as
want
long
you
as
I
you
to.
wanna
guys.
come back when it happens.
Well, we're gonna do that right at. We're not gonna send you out right away. Okay. We're gonna let you stay for that. Okay. So I'm gonna start off with Willa, who was watching a new show that's on TV that was called Selfie, and it's about a self-absorbed young woman who has no couth or manners, who is rebranded by a very educated, smart fellow who thinks that he can change her from the way she is into something more respectable, and teach her how to be more refined. And as I was watching it, it came to a point where they introduced the characters as Henry and Eliza Dooley. And everyone above your heads is recognizing a book that was written called Pygmalion that was later rebranded as a show called My Fair Lady with Rex Harrison, and please forgive my Google brain, but I cannot remember who the other
Audrey Hepburn.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and I was thinking about that at the same time as I was thinking about Roseanne is giving a thing on choking. And so I was thinking about how people feel the need to rebrand themselves. And I wanted to talk about the feeling of choking. Now, do you guys know what a metaphor is? Okay. A metaphor is something that physically happens, but we talk about things that didn't actually physically happen, but we express how we feel in that way. And sometimes when we're not really choking because there's food, sometimes we feel choked because we're not allowed to be who we want to be. Now I want you guys here, look at me, Caroline, look at me. Do you guys ever feel like you can't breathe and you're being choked because you're not allowed to be who you want to be? You think? That's something you guys can relate to? Because I wanted to share about myself when I was a little kid. Something that I am is colorblind. And when I was a little kid, people would ask me, do you know your colors? What color is this? What color is this? What color? And they were so happy when you got it right. And when you got it wrong, you knew you had done something wrong. And you got that, oh, I'm so, no, you'll get it the next time. And that did not make me feel good. That made me feel like I was choking, like I couldn't breathe. And when I got older, I got socks. We used to have these socks called tube socks, and they came in 4 colors. Yellow, which my sister got, blue, which my brother got, and I got all the rest, which was a mixed match of red and green. And my mother did the laundry so nicely for me, but then just threw them all in the drawer, and I had to sort them out for myself. And I couldn't. And I would go to gym class, and 9 times out of 10 or more, my luck, people would say, you've got a green and a red sock on. And so I found a way to sort out the different socks. And then I got even older than that, and I wanted to drive. And I'd be driving down the road at 55 miles an hour, or maybe a little faster, and I would come to a light, and I had to figure out which one was red and which one was green to know whether I stopped or I should go. That really made me have a hard time breathing sometimes. Yeah.
But you can figure out, because people could tell you, because it's a special spot for them.
The red is on top and the green is on bottom, unless somebody hangs it sideways the wrong way. In Pennsylvania, in 3 different towns, along 218. It happens. And then, I got older and I went to college, and I wanted to be a painter. And I remember when you're a painter, you have to do a thing that's called a critique.
What's that?
It's when people give you advice about your painting when they do it well, or they make fun of it when they do it not well. And I remember,
like if it's red, like if it's red grass or a green mad signal.
When your grass is red, or the thing I remember is someone saying, whenever you paint people, they all look like frogs. That's what I remember. And that was really hard for me, and you know what? I stopped painting.
Why?
Because I couldn't breathe. It made me feel like choking. And you know what? I can stand here today and I can talk about these things. And you know why that is?
Why?
Because I'm amongst a group of people who I feel comfortable with. That I feel like it's okay for me to be me. And that no matter what I do when I come here, I may have to change my behavior sometimes and be good, but I don't feel like I'm choking. Okay? And what we're going to learn today is how to physically help people who are choking.
And I get to demonstrate.
Wow.
Everybody's got it.
But the thing that I want us to walk away with is to remember that we need to spiritually help people who feel like they're choking. Go Logan.
Are you still colorblind?
I am, but you know what? That's okay.
You still draw pictures, you still can draw, just sometimes you don't make certain little things.
That's right.
You just don't make tiny little things, you just make it different without any green or red.
That's right. And no matter what way we do things, generally, you know what?
It looks good.
That's right. We do good. But we've got to remember when we're dealing with other people.
Even if your self-portrait looks like, even if you're a girl and your self-portrait looks like you're a boy with a mustache.
That's right. I loved your self-portrait. I thought that was great. So, and you know what? Sometimes in real life people think you're a boy too, so it must look just like you.
Oh!
We'll work on the mustache, but I have seen you in a mustache too. So, all right. So I'm going to leave you with that. And with that idea, we're going to turn things over to Roseanne, and we're going to start our third round of sleeping tigers.
Lions.
Fine. Dragons.
Lions.
Whatever, if we're all right. Mhm.
Right. But peace does not rest in the charters and covenants alone. It lies in the hearts and minds of all people. So let us not rest all our hopes on parchment and on paper. Let us strive to build peace, a desire for peace, a willingness to work for peace in the hearts and minds of all our people. I believe we can. I believe the problems of human destiny are not beyond the reach of human beings. And that was JFK. Aha. So, we're going to talk about choking a little bit. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what prompted me to choose this topic, because it's kind of an odd topic for UU, I think. But my mom has a very dear friend whose daughter was attending, it's like a party, right? And there were a lot of people in the room, and the daughter started to choke, but no one noticed that that was happening because it was a party and people were talking and eating and laughing. And she ended up going without oxygen for a certain amount of time, probably a few minutes, and she went unconscious, and that was when the people at the party noticed that something was wrong, although they didn't know that she choked at the time, and they called 911, and she passed away before 911 got there.
Oh my God.
So a very, very tragic death. She was 30-something?
Oh, she was in her 40s.
40s.
Yeah.
So
She was an adult.
that got me thinking about how important it is to kind of spread the word about this. It's knowledge that I have, and I've been teaching to folks for close to 30 years. I have no idea if anyone I ever taught ever saved anybody, but I'm kind of hoping so, I would think, because I've taught thousands of people during that time period. And what you need to do to help somebody is so simple that in most cases I think I kept thinking if I was at that party, I probably would have noticed something, and she might be alive now, or somebody else that had taken a class. So before I get into kind of showing you what to do, I want to ask a couple questions. One, has anyone ever taken CPR or first aid here? Okay. Has anyone taken it in the last couple of years? No. And some things have changed. And one of the reasons that things change every few years or so is because as we do more and more research and scientists have more experience with this kind of stuff, they find that maybe doing something a little bit differently might actually be a better or faster way to save somebody. So I'll show you a few things today, and they might seem a little new, or I kind of remember that, but that seems a little different. So we'll go over that. So before I get into actually practicing, I wanted to talk about how to prevent choking from happening in the first place. So who can think of some things that we can do or not do that might prevent somebody from choking? Yes?
Not making someone laugh while doing all that.
Right, not making somebody laugh when they're eating. It's really, really important that when you're eating, that's all you're doing. You're not laughing, you're not talking, you're not running. And I think a lot about how excited kids are when they're at a picnic, and it would be really easy to like grab something to eat and then run and go play, and you're laughing and that kind of things, and adults do that too.
Or driving or riding in a car.
Driving or riding in a car, yeah.
Laying down, watching TV.
Yeah, that's probably not the best position to be in while you're chewing and swallowing. What else?
Or sitting, or upside down, downing.
Upside down. Upside down eating could be good. It might be good. It just kind of go down, wouldn't it? What else?
The size and bites of your food and your
Yes.
That's what I was gonna say.
The size of the bites of your food and how much you're chewing. I don't know if you really need to chew 30 times. I forgot who thought that one up. I
But
think it was
always
in a
have a
movie or
glass
something.
of water.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
noticing that.
Yeah, having something to drink nearby is good. So, who wants to guess what the food item that people choke on the most?
hot dog.
Steak.
Steak is correct.
Oh.
And I did not
That's
tell
right.
my mother the, is that what it was?
Yes, which
It was steak.
Steak.
And who wants to guess the size of that piece of steak on average? How long do you think it?
1 inch.
1 inch is correct. That's a pretty big hunk of meat. And I suffer from eating very quickly. And I always tell my mother, growing up at our house, and there were 4 sisters, and a mom and dad, and the food
Get it
was
while
in the
you
middle of the
can.
table, and it's like, yeah, get it while you can. I better quick eat this really fast because there might not be anything left. And I still do it. It drives my husband crazy, and it's just one of my problems. So slowing down and paying attention to what you're doing and chewing a little bit more slowly is a good idea too. Yeah.
You still could do that, but instead of eating it fast, you could get it off the middle of the table that everybody
Well,
Load your plate
you,
up
you are an
fast.
only child. You don't know. You can even lick
don't
it
know,
and they'll
yeah.
still eat it on you.
You don't know. Your sister or brother's looking at your plate and going, "Are you gonna eat all that?" I
I
used to do
personally
that to my
remember
sister Pam.
taking my hand on my sister's plate, just going
Yeah.
with a tuna noodle casserole.
That's what happened.
I licked my dessert and they still ate it.
Now,
You know,
food. Yeah.
in a
so-
way, it's not all that un-UU because mindful eating is Buddhist. We can learn from the Buddhists. So I think it's very UU to be talking about this.
Yeah, I guess so. So food isn't the only thing that we choke on. Okay, sometimes I find myself doing really stupid things like put a paper clip on my mouth while I'm talking on the phone. Why do I do some of you guys do that? A cap, a cap of a pen or a cap of a magic marker. I mean, those are like perfect sizes.
Bottle cap.
Because
A bottle
because
cap.
you're holding the paper and you have to get that off with one hand, so you do it with your mouth.
Yeah. And let's talk about kids a little bit. And there are certain foods that kids eat that they choke on more often than any other kind of food. And when I mean a kid, I mean little kids. Is anybody in, you guys are all in school, right? Are you in kindergarten? Yes? Okay. So if we're talking about kids that aren't old enough to go to school yet, so we'll talk about, I guess, toddlers.
Hard candy.
2,
Candy,
3,
yeah.
4-year-olds. Hard candy.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, which is something I've choked on personally.
I choked on
Because when we
one
eat popcorn, we don't just take a little piece. That's how I eat it. Popcorn eating machine is what Ron calls me.
Are we back to the hot dogs yet?
Hot dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. And how do people cut hot dogs for a kid? They go like this, right? And then they're little plugs. So strips are better. Yeah. Can you think of little pieces of food the little kid might choke on?
Not really food, but all of my toys that I got for my birthday, they all say on the box, do not let 3-year-olds or littler, 0 to 3, play with this choking hazard.
So if you have a really little kid coming to visit your house, or you have really little brothers and sisters or cousins or whatever that come,
Yeah,
you gotta clear up that stuff, right? Legos, Barbie shoes are bad, marbles,
Legos.
coins, really little things like that. Very dangerous. Yeah.
And my little, I don't know what it's called. Oh yeah, Orbeez. My Orbeez things.
What are those? Is that a toy?
They are a toy that is about that big and
Yeah.
plastic.
A nice
Yeah.
plug size that can get stuck, right?
Yeah, it says that on it. And last time, a time I had a little kid come to my house. It was mostly on my birthday. I had those on my birthday, and I had it in my room. But since all the little kids were playing in my room, I put it up on one of the shelves.
Excellent. You child saved your home, see?
And just a disclaimer, even though on the very first publication of the 100 Most Dangerous Toys was a picture of a Fisher-Price little person, there are no cases of children choking on the Fisher-Price little man. He's too big.
Oh, okay. So maybe they probably thought
But
about
it
that
ruined
when they made
it ruined that, and they discontinued it because it had such bad publicity.
Aw.
They just put it on the cover for the heck of it.
The ones that you
Yeah.
fit right in the bus?
Yep,
Oh.
they are.
Their heads are bigger. Yeah.
Their heads are bigger, and the body size is bigger, so it doesn't get down the canal and doesn't actually choke people.
So who do you guys think dies from choking more often, children or adults?
Old people.
Adults do. Do you know why?
I think they know everything.
Because
By themselves?
nobody adult proofs their
They're
house.
either alone, or if they're with other people, they're embarrassed about what's happening. And they've done studies, and they find, don't tell me why this is true, women go to the bathroom alone, and they choke and die. Men go outside and choke and die. So one of the little hints of trying to figure out, is that person over there choking, is if they get up, maybe their coloring is a little off, maybe they're grabbing their throat, maybe they're a real noisy talker like me and they're super quiet, follow them. I used to work with someone who was in a restaurant, and she saw this man get up, and he was looking a little suspicious. She walked into the bathroom with him, and he was not choking. So she ended up being the one that was embarrassed to have him.
But that's okay.
But that was okay. I think he appreciated that she was worried about him. It's always better to figure these things out before somebody actually goes unconscious, although there's some ways to help people once that happens too. So kids, on the other hand, are very good at letting everyone know that they're having a problem. And when I'm talking about choking, I'm talking about the airway being completely blocked. You can't cough, you can't speak, you can't make any kind of noise at all. You can't breathe. If you're a little baby, you can't cry. So somebody might make a sound like this, like that. There's also what we call the international sign for, I am choking, please save me. So if everybody wants to grab their throat like this. So if you see somebody doing this, they could be choking.
Unless you're
Okay.
there doing it right now.
Yes. Now, although adults die more often from choking than children, children choke more often than adults do. Okay? And that has to do with the laughing and the running around and not paying attention while they're eating.
And tiny toys.
The other things that adults do that can help to promote choking is drinking alcohol.
And smoking a cigarette. And smoking and you're drinking, then you inhale your sip.
Well, inhaling liquid is uncomfortable, but you can still breathe, right? We're worried about food that gets stuck because then you
Inhaling
can't
the
breathe.
solids. Eating that peanut that gets lodged.
Right.
in your
So
throat.
what happens with the alcohol is it actually relaxes your natural gag reflex that would have maybe stopped that piece of food from getting stuck in the first place. Okay? And then you mentioned elderly folks, people who wear dentures, okay? I don't know if there's anyone here that wears dentures. I don't, but my understanding is that you don't have a sense of how big that piece of food is in your mouth. And so when you're chewing, you have to pay a lot more attention to how much you're chewing it. But it can go down and get stuck in that way. So that can be a problem.
Like when she
So,
lost her
so Willa, would you like to be my assistant?
Yay! Finally!
Now, no, come on over here. You stand in front of everybody. No, you're gonna face everybody. There you go. All right. Now, I'm not gonna hurt you in any way. My hands are a little cold. That's about it. Okay. Now, the way that we save someone who's choking, who is not an infant, okay, is the same no matter if they're as small as Willa or as tall as an NBA basketball
Or
player.
as small as puppy.
Okay. But there's a few little adjustments you can make based on my size as the rescuer and her size as, we'll just call her the victim. You're the victim today. Okay? So let's say that Willow was not paying attention. She was eating some steak, and she got a piece of steak stuck in her throat. Okay? Now,
That's
how
vegetarian steak, by the way.
Oh, vegetarian steak. Okay, so you've got a portobello mushroom steak, which is quite delicious, I must say. Oh, you don't like that? All right, well, what do you want to be choking on? What kind of food do you like?
Corn dog.
A corn dog. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. All right, so you're going to have to put Puppy down for this. Well, okay. Now, how are you going to let everyone in the room know that you're choking on a corn dog? Okay, so she's going to do the international sign for I am choking, please save me. Okay, so I notice that she's doing this, and I'm going to start off by asking her permission and asking her another question. Willa, are you choking? Can I help you? Okay, so you can relax for a second now. Now the reason that I asked her those questions is when you have this knowledge, at first in the beginning I found for myself, I couldn't wait to go around and start saving people. Well, you can't just go around saving people, right? And in fact, in 30 years, I have never, ever been somewhere where someone's been choking. So, yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm kind of waiting to do it, but I also want to put it out there and let everybody else go off and do those things too. So, okay, so I asked her if she was choking. I want to make sure she's not doing something else. This could be a new dance or something. What do I know? Okay? And I'm also asking her permission. Now, here in the state of New York and in all 50 states, there are what we call Good Samaritan laws. And the Good Samaritan laws are in place for non-healthcare professionals like myself to be protected by the law if I go and do some type of first aid on a person, and it protects me if the person dies or what I'm doing to her injures her or something like that. It protects me from being sued by the person that I'm helping. Okay? All right, so you want to put your hands back up there? All right, now, well, you're actually pretty tall. I thought maybe I was going to have to kneel down, but I really don't have to, okay? If you have someone that's a lot shorter than you want to make yourself their size by kneeling down, but I can do this with you standing up because you're taller and I'm really starting to shrink, I think. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, all right, now I'm right-handed. So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to grab her right shoulder and I'm going to bend her as far forward as she can go. And I'm going to hit her as hard as I can between the shoulder blades.
Don't actually.
I'm not really going to, all this is fake, don't worry. With the palm of my hand, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to straighten her up. And then I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to put it between her 2 feet, okay? And that's going to help support her. Because if she starts to pass out, it'll be easier for me to get her down on the ground without both of us getting hurt. And this is really important if you're doing this on someone who's a lot bigger than you are. And I'm pretty wimpy as far as my upper body strength. Okay? Next thing I'm going to do, you can move your arms a little bit so they can see. Now, where's your belly button? You don't have, you just, okay, there you go. Is that your belly button? Okay, now you're a little ticklish. Okay, so I'm going to make a fist with my right hand, just like I'm going to punch her in the stomach. Then I'm going to place it right above her belly button. Okay? Then, let me go into your arms up better, like this. Okay? And then I'm going to take my other hand, and I'm going to grab the fist. You guys see? And I'm not going to really do this, but as hard as I can, I'm going to do an inward and upward motion. So it looks like I'm doing a U right into her stomach. Okay? And I'm going to do that 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to straighten her up. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you keep doing that
Fast as you can.
as fast as you can, as hard as you can, for as long as you can, until the food comes popping out, which this is highly effective, so it probably will. I have a friend who was an EMT. She says she saw a piece of food. That corn dog could fly 20 feet and hit the wall. So don't stand in front like this. Okay? It's kind of like a champagne cork effect, right? Or if the person goes unconscious. Okay? And then we kind of have a different story on our hands. All right? You want to go unconscious for me?
No.
Just lay down.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay. So once they're unconscious, we're going to do chest compressions instead. And that will
Don't do
help
the
to bring the
second part
food
that
up
I
and
know.
out and into the mouth.
Don't do the
I'm
second
not
part
going
I
to do
know
them.
of.
Okay. So right in the
second
center of the
part
chest,
I know of.
notice how my
Just
fingers are up off of her body because I don't want to injure her rib cage. And then I'm going to compress about 1 to 1.5 inches because she's a kid, about 2 inches on an adult. And an adult is considered anyone over 8 years old. But you're over 8 years old. But you're a little small there, so we'll treat you like a kid. There's a little gray room there. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Give her a hand.
Can I tell you what the posters in my lunchroom say?
What do they say?
I'm gonna show you with Puppy. They only showed the laying down part.
Mm-hmm. And that is the older way to do it. If that's all you remember and that's what it says on the poster, do it.
But they've changed that for people who are having a heart attack, of not doing the breathing, but doing the chest compressions continually. Because when people have had a heart attack, the thing that's going to get the air flowing to their brain is to get the heart started. And every time you do a compression, it pushes blood through the system and delivers oxygen
Right. So
through the
doing the
blood.
compressions is the most
The only
important
thing
thing.
I actually could read, was able to look at and read, it was in bigger letters than the other part was this part. I
That's right.
actually read it, so I just barely demonstrated the other part.
Well,
All
I
right.
think Puppy's gonna
We're all
make
going to
it.
practice.
All
Because
right.
you know what? When you physically do something, you remember it a lot
Now,
better.
The Heimlich maneuver.
We don't even call it that. We don't even
Well,
call it.
that's
You
because
know
it's
what?
a-
Because Mr. Heimlich is dead,
Mhm.
and the Heimlich maneuver was this part of it, and now we've added some other things.
So
People
that's-
should be calling,
Okay.
someone should be calling 911 as soon as someone acknowledges that they're choking.
Yes, thank you very much for remembering that. You want 911 to be there as soon as possible. Okay? Yes.
You don't check the airway.
If they tell you they're choking,
We never check the airway of a conscious person. It's dangerous for you as the rescuer. You don't want to put any fingers or anything in their mouth or anything like that. Okay. I know that some people might, when I was doing it on Willa, I was using gravity. If the child's a little younger and you can just sort of hang them upside down, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not officially in any kind of instructions, but gravity is helping, and that's why I'm doing that way.
Can we do an addendum on procedures with seizures?
Seizures, yeah, we could do that. Why doesn't everybody stand up? Let's do a little practice. You want to have the EMS people have access to you, because if you're not able to get it out, you're going to go unconscious. And how long can somebody go unconscious before their brain starts to die?
3 minutes.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes, so you don't have a whole lot of time. Okay? All right, any questions about that? All right, so you wanted me to talk about seizures.
So that, I didn't know that about the chair.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Now, you can do this, but I don't like it very much. I can't get as much oomph, can't get as much leverage and do it on
Plus you're
myself this
losing-
way. Yeah, but with doing it on the chair, or my hair will probably catch on fire, so I won't do it. But you know, if you have a rounded corner of a table, something that's around the same height as your waist. So if there are places that you normally eat, like your house or work or your favorite restaurant, you might want to scope those places out and think about what piece of furniture would I use if I started to choke. Because people who eat alone do choke at times. Okay? Even though hopefully they're not laughing and engaging, but maybe they're not paying attention. They're reading their phone or watching TV or something, not paying attention to what they're doing. So anyway, what did you want to know about seizures? What kind of first aid if someone's having a
Yep.
seizure? Okay. So what's super important about dealing with someone who's having a seizure is making sure that you're allowing the person to have their seizure in the safest way possible, okay? It's not about trying to restrain the person. It's not about trying to stick something down their throat so they don't swallow their tongue, which people don't, okay? They might bite their tongue, but that means they might bite your fingers too if you start poking around in there. So we want to make sure someone is as safe as possible. So what surface are they lying on? Are they on a cement floor? Try and get a pillow or roll up a jacket or something and put it under their head because you want to protect their head, okay? Were there items that are dangerous that fell down near them when they had the seizure? Like maybe they were in a kitchen and there were knives or something like that. So you want to move dangerous items away from them, okay? Once their seizure is over, they're going to be very disoriented. If they've never had a seizure before, they're going to be very frightened. They're not going to know what just happened, okay? So it's good to clear other people away while you're waiting for 911 to arrive. You can have a conversation with that person and tell them everything is going to be okay and kind of soothe them a little bit. If it's someone that has seizures normally, depending on if they're a child or an adult, are they at school, are they at work, where are they may not want you to call 911. Maybe they're having some problem with their medication or something like that. So there's, so there could be sort of an issue there.
But it might be a good idea to keep an eye on the clock to monitor how long the seizure is.
Right. And most of them are pretty quick, and they don't last that long. But, if it's lasting a minute, 2 minutes, it's starting to get a little bit long, because usually they don't last that long. So, yes.
Going back to the choking too is, as you described, choking is when people can no longer
Cough,
breathe.
speak, or breathe.
Right.
Mhm.
So if someone is coughing pre-choking, you want to encourage them keep coughing, so maybe they can.
Right.
eject.
Coughing, thank you for reminding me of that. Coughing is the best way to get out that piece of food that might be stuck.
Is it good to smack them on the back when they're
Smacking it
coughing?
on the back and doing the abdominal thrust, that's an artificial cough.
Oh,
So a
yeah,
real
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is always better.
But well, the smack on the back will help them, won't it?
Yes, of course it will.
If they're coughing, will liquids help?
But coughing is the best. Coughing is the best. Liquids are just going to start choking on the liquids, so just let them cough. Okay? It might come up, it might go down. Okay? So things that people choke on that don't block the airway but are uncomfortable, like a fish bone or something like that, we're not worried about their life at that point. It's uncomfortable, so they're trying to get it up or out. You might have to have somebody take it out for them, but it's the things that block the airway completely that are life-threatening. Okay, yes, sir.
If someone memorize, I say we were called lifesavers until they got will choke on them. They have the hole so when they fall.
I was gonna say that, Logan.
Yeah. Yay,
Oh,
Logan!
yeah.
Did you guys get that? The
Awesome.
lifesaver has the hole in the middle, so choking on those isn't too bad.
That's why they're called
It's not
lifesavers.
comfortable, but it.
They
You
save
know
the
the
life.
story about that?
Is that why they did it?
The guy that invented the lifesaver, his son choked and died on the plane. So
Oh!
that's why they call them life.
Now they need to make cube
I
steaks
thought
with
they were
holes in
called.
them.
I thought they
We
were
can have a
called.
Swiss steak.
Swiss steak.
It's got holes in it.
I thought they were called lifesavers.
Hey, it's
because
time for a
they're
song! Shall we sing?
like the life buoy.
We're gonna sing Imagine today.
Alright, oh, I like that one.
She's giving
This
that.
is one of my favorite songs. When I was doing a little research on the internet, there are a lot of musicians who vote this is the best pop song ever written in all of history. I am personally really into John Lennon, and I have a picture of him in my room, and I love him.
So just ironically, our neighbor was telling us just yesterday that she went out to dinner a week ago and choked while she was at dinner. And her husband saved her.
Oh, now she's got to be nice to him, huh?
Well, he's her hero anyway. Okay, are we ready?
Okay, are we ready?
Can you have a seat, Will? Alright. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Nice.
Do you remember, Mom, right after my dad had died, we were in Florida.
Yeah.
And my mom and I went to an exhibition of John Lennon's artwork that Yoko Ono had put on, and it was
I
like
remember
a
that.
tent.
Yeah.
And it was pretty crowded, and we were walking around and looking at his artwork, and his song came on, and we both started crying, and we were hugging in the middle of this art exhibit, and all these people are looking at us.
So beautiful.
And then the funny part was, I'm really, really cheap, okay? And we're getting ready to leave, and they're selling John Lennon t-shirts. You know, his self-portrait was on the t-shirt, and you know, the t-shirts were like $25 or something, and I've never spent that much on a t-shirt in my life. My mother goes, "You should treat yourself, your father just died." So I bought that shirt, and I do wear it. So.
Love
My-
that. Love that.
My moment was there was a TV series called Quantum Leap where the
I
guy
love
went
that
back
show.
in time and he went back to his own childhood and he met his sister, and to convince her that he was from the future, he played that song.
Aww.
And the whole room of men and women that were watching that TV show just cried because she said to him, "I know that it's true because that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It has to be."
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Got a little basket if anybody wants to make an offering.
I already did.
Very nice presentation there.
Oh, thank you.
I gave mine to Gordon.
Once that goes around, we're gonna circle up. We normally do a little circle.
You too, yes.
We'll go around this way. Kids, do you want to be the candle blower outers when we get to that point? Not yet. Not yet.
All right, can I get a hand?
I'm gonna take,
We need to.
put that, okay?
My hands are still cold. I need to hold hands while I'm up. That's what I need to do.
Why don't you go first?
And since we're having one of my most favorite kinds of days as far as weather goes, because I'm an autumnal girl, I have a lovely quote here from John Muir. "Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you, and the storms their energy, while cares will drop off like autumn leaves." Ready to blow out, kitties? All right. Oh. Are we okay?
There was one concern I forgot.
Oh.
The Buffalo Bills.
All right, back in the circle. Back in the circle. Can we get back in the circle? One of the things I'd like to do
Guys,
is.
whoa. Just hold hands and
Can
stop.
you hold hands, please? One of the things that I'd like to do is we start at one part of the circle, and we'll start with Logan. Lola, can you hold my hand, please? And
Sleep or me?
Willa, and Logan, if you'll squeeze the hand of the person next to you, go around. Go around. There you go.
I squeezed
And
both.